Tour operators outline what tourism authorities need to do with a tourism product. Brown sugar returns to supermarket shelves, and in sports, Chargers in line to do the double in senior knockout volleyball.
With the compliments of Globe Finance, those are the headlines of tonight's edition of the Evening News. Next on CBC.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. This is the CBC Evening News. Barbados needs to refresh its tourism product. The message has come from tour operators who are key to delivering thousands of visitors to this island. In an exclusive interview with CBC News, Chairman of the Barbados Tourism Authority, Adrian Alcock, said they have been told that some hotels must bring their properties up to date. He confirmed that many of them are not spending enough money in capital maintenance and training.
We need to ensure that our hotel partners either are incentivized or they put aside some of their revenue to support their capital maintenance of their plant, ensure that it's kept up to date. That's one thing. The other thing that we're hearing is that we need to invest more in our technology and support services, meaning we need to come to hotels, they need to be Wi-Fi accessible. You know, they need to be able to be connected, guests need to be able to be connected all the time. And that's something that our hoteliers need to either look at as a value proposition or a revenue proposition.
Mr. Alcock also told CBC News that the BTA was working with the Hotel and Tourism Association to see if some hotels can assist in marketing Barbados.
I learned that there's something called the Tourism Investment Fund, and where the industry is supposed to put the private sector industry, contribute to the fund and help with their marketing efforts. Only 12% of the industry have contributed to that. That's not good enough. 100% of them need to, because it benefits all of us. Now, partner that with the BTA dollars, you have a much stronger marketing budget for the island. You got to look at it for the island. So I think I would like to spend some time trying to understand that a little bit more with the BHTA and see how we can help and use our influence to help everyone to contribute and support that at one level.
The head of the local hotel association is concerned about the methods some hoteliers are using to attract visitors. Lisa Broom reports.
The global economic crisis continues to hamper the earning capacity of Barbados's tourism industry, the sector that generates most of the island's foreign exchange. And now one of the major stakeholders is sounding the alarm about how some of its members are trying to earn badly needed income. Head of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Colin Jordan, is worried about the steep discounts being offered by some properties in a bid to attract visitors. He warns that this could lead to the bastardization of the Barbados brand while destroying tourism and related businesses. While acknowledging the need to maintain cash flow, Mr. Jordan says there is a price point below which local businesses will lose significant amounts of money. The BHTA head is also advising members to think carefully, be proactive and act rather than react in a panic. But the news is not all bad for hoteliers. Mr. Jordan says some hotels have managed to generate significant amounts of revenue from taking part in the Book Barbados Now initiative. The campaign is run on a website using the same name, bookbarbadosnow.com. The BHTA president says so far, participating hotels have earned more than $75,000 up to the end of August. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Meanwhile, Mr. Jordan believes there is a greater need for stakeholders to understand the history of Barbados. In doing so, he says officials would be able to make more prudent decisions to properly position the vital industry for the future. Mr. Jordan says there are many historical strengths of Barbados that they still need to exploit wherever possible.
Guiding us must be an overarching developmental direction, strategic in nature, but powerful enough to infuse the momentum that will cause the development of the industry and the country. So that this development, guided by our history, rooted in strong research, will speak to us about emerging trends. It will allow us to understand how we will position ourselves to meet these emerging trends so that we can satisfy the needs of our customers.
Mr. Jordan called for this renewed focus to avoid repeating errors of the past.
We need to focus on those areas that best reflect who we are as a people. And this will allow us to share Barbados with the world in a very authentic way. Let us not repeat the errors of the past. Tourism does not have to become another tobacco or another sugar. With good planning and with strategic focus and direction, we can successfully face the hurricanes of the present and those of the future.
Brown sugar is now available at all supermarkets across the island once more. That's according to officials from Hill Milling Company Limited, one of the local distributors of Mum's branded sugar. General Manager of Hill Milling, Richard Ashby, told CBC News the much sought-after brown sugar is now available. This brings an end to a 3-week-old shortage at supermarkets and shops. He says the company made its first set of deliveries yesterday after receiving a shipment of sugar. 600 bags were received on Tuesday and another 500 bags on Wednesday, which he says should be distributed island-wide today. Mr. Ashby said while all supermarkets have stock, quantities will be limited given the fact that the entire island was short of brown sugar. Local poultry producers are assessing the stock of eggs and poultry products in Barbados to ensure there is an adequate supply for the Christmas period. This from the president of the Barbados Agricultural Society, Wendell Clark. Mr. Clark says Barbados has about 200,000 laying hens that average about 200 cases per day. However, he says, given consumption patterns and the trends of late, there might be need for a reassessment. He made the comment recently at the airport, moments after returning to the island from the International Eggs Conference in Washington.
From the last records, it seems as though we will be able to supply, but we are going to be tying down those figures over the next couple of weeks. And if we recognize that consumption going higher and we can't supply, then we will have to, we probably will have to import a container sorters to make sure we have eggs to satisfy the Christmas market.
Mr. Clark, however, expressed some concern about the availability of local turkey for the holidays.
We had some challenges early in the year with turkeys in terms of placements of turkeys. So see, if you don't put in the turkeys adequate enough, you can't take them out. So I suspect that there's a great possibility that turkeys might be a little short in supply for Christmas.
A cassava project is being developed by the Ministry of Agriculture. It will see the root crop being used to produce animal and poultry feeds, flour and pasta products. This has been revealed by the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. David Estwick.
We are going to mechanize production of cassava. We have already discussed with BAMC, and they will provide us for trial 100 acres of land. We will start with 50 acres of land, and we plant only cassava. We are testing the varieties now that will give us the best leaf characteristics and then also the root characteristics. The objective, therefore, in the plant that we are having evaluated now by the European group and the Chinese group will be to take the cassava root, convert that into cassava flour for introduction into baking into Barbados.
The Blackman Gollop School, which was officially opened yesterday, has been described as the crowning jewel in educational facilities in St. Michael's Southeast. That view was expressed by Member of Parliament for the constituency, Hamilton Lashley, who congratulated the ministry for recent extensions undertaken at the Parkinson Memorial and Ann Hill schools.
I want to thank, first of all, the minister for his vision, for getting those architects that came on board and designed this wonderful complex here. Mr. Minister, to you and the principal, perhaps when the school is functioning at its zenith, that the whole aspect of compensatory education be brought into the school curriculum. That is, that we bring extra school activities, particularly in this changing global educational climate, that would satisfy the needs of our entire constituency and Barbados. School cannot and will not be and should not be a 93 exercise only.